What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Bianconeri zone, and welcome back to a new daily news video that's gonna be center staged by Douglas Luiz. It's becoming a saga in the media, and now it's not just Douglas Luiz, because we are linked with an Eze Douglas Luiz swap. So Douglas Luiz going to Crystal Palace and Eze going to Juve. I'm gonna talk about why all this is becoming very crazy. Even though we got linked with Eze in the past and Giuntoli likes Eze, the Douglas Luiz thing is getting out of hand right now, and we will talk about that. We will also talk about Zirkzee not being an option at this moment in time, despite him having very good ties with Thiago Motta and actually not playing at all at Man United, which is becoming an issue right now. And then we're gonna wrap it up with Parisi. Everybody remembers that name. We talked about that on the channel, I think 2 summers ago, and it was closed, and then boom, Fiorentina came in and we were like, what? He's potentially an option again for January as well. So before we do that, as always, hit the like button. Do that, at least click the like button right now. Appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel, and let's start talking about Eze and especially Douglas Luiz first. So, Eze, Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz has signed in the summer, and he has been sold about 10 times in the last 3 weeks by the media. He's not getting sold in January for 2 simple reasons. One, well, he's injured a long time, so which club is going to do that in January? And 2, you're going to lose a lot of money, which makes no sense for the club as well. That's that. I get that he's not playing much, that he's injured, and it was for a muscle fatigue, but I'm at a point where I'm like, well, yeah, we have injury-prone players, or we had some injury-prone players in the past, you know, however you want to look at it. But man, our players are missing a lot of time for very basic injuries, where it's like you shouldn't be out for that amount of time. And then you look at teams like Atalanta, and they have players out with ACLs, and they're already in training, not group training, but they're in training. I'm like, this is not normal. So we can talk about Douglas Luiz, and you can call him a flop. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with my point that is, in the summer, I said that I like Douglas Luiz, and I still like Douglas Luiz as a player. I was like, but did we really need to pay that amount of money for Douglas Luiz when looking at the squad and the issues we have? Now, that's not something I will hold against him. That's something I will hold against the club. What I hold against him is that when he played, it wasn't good. Period. That's as simple as that, you know? But he's been out for a very long time. So the links of him being moved out in January are not really making sense for, well, just financial reasons, and reasons other clubs are looking at it as well. Going back to Eze, he's not going to Crystal Palace. Like, it's just not gonna. He's not going from Aston Villa qualifying for Champions League to Juve to Crystal Palace fighting for relegation. You know, I'm just gonna put that news out there because Douglas Luiz is being linked with a move for so long in the last couple of weeks, and it's not making really any sense right now. So that is one thing I was trying to say. The other thing I was trying to say is that Eze is also an easy link because he's been linked with us in the past, and to top it off, he's also been linked to Giuntoli because he looked at him when he was at Napoli. He's a fantastic player, Eze, but we're not going to sign Eze. You know, the injuries obviously are a bit worry, but the price tag, like, it's just not going to happen. You know, the Douglas Luiz thing is what's driving this story, and I wanted to point it out that we're going to sell Douglas Luiz, according to the media, in the next couple of weeks, a lot of times to many different teams. So that's what I was going to talk about. Now let's move on to Zirkzee, a name heavily linked to us by basically all the media, especially the English media, which is kind of interesting as well. It's not really the Italian media pushing it. However, the Italian media, being Di Marzio in this case, came out and said, yeah, despite not playing a lot and a new coach, and actually also not playing with the new coach, and playing poorly as well at Man U, he's not linked. He's not moving. You know, Man U are not moving him in January, despite, you know, all the rumors. And actually, Juve are not really looking at him. Now, with Zirkzee, I am on the point where I'm like, yeah, you will take him on loan, definitely. That's a no-brainer for us. But I don't see Man U rolling him out in the summer, in January, because you have a new coach. I don't think the coach is going to do anything in January. He's going to try to figure out what he has, and then in the summer set things right. And that includes Zirkzee. He's probably going to look it out. Like, it's not making a lot of sense to a new coach coming in and being like, yeah, get rid of these players when you can get rid of him in January, in the summer if you actually want. For Juve, obviously, it makes a tons of sense, because you get a player who's proven in Serie A, who knows Motta, who will slot in immediately. You get to know me time, whatever. It's very obvious. If Motta asks you to do this, you will understand what is needed to do, to be done. Zirkzee is a good player. I cannot, like, how many players go to Man U and succeed? At the top of my head, probably 10%, 50% maybe succeed. The other ones just flop. That's the destination Man U is. So you shouldn't be putting a lot of stock in that regard, especially at this moment in time. But it makes so much sense that it doesn't make sense. It's too easy for us to do in January. That is probably not going to happen, So, I don't know. We will probably get linked with Zirkzee, and maybe there will be a moment where it feels like, hey, there's an opening from Man U. But right now, I don't think that's making a lot of sense for Man U, especially. Now, let's move on to the final topic of the show, and that's Parisi. If you guys are old enough, to be on the channel since the beginning, that somewhere where we talked about Parisi, and I was like, yeah, it's a tap-in transfer. Like, it's out there, do it. We need it, and at one point it was like, yeah, it's close, and then, oh no, he's going to Fiorentina, and everybody was like, what? And now the potential move could be back on the table in January because he's not playing a lot at Fiorentina. He wants out. Fiorentina are open to let him go, and we're among the teams interested in him. For me, that's a big fat no. Because of the timing back then, where the rumors and the reports were also that he preferred to join Fiorentina over us. At that moment in time, I'm like, you're dumb for me. Unless you're some world-class talent, I can be like, yeah, I can look past that. You're just that talented. Parisi is not that, and actually, I was extremely high on Parisi, but the improvements he's shown at Fiorentina are actually not enough. They're not enough. The injuries are a bit, but at Fiorentina, he's not, being lights out. He's not done what everybody was expecting him to, that everybody was expecting him to do, and take certain steps. He didn't do that. So for me, it's a no. Even though it makes a lot of sense, probably, it's a loan and we need help. We need that, at that, in that positions. For me, it's a no. I want something different because I've not seen steps, so it got me really concerned. I prefer to do something else. Now, I don't know what something else is. That's on Giuntoli to figure out. But for me, Parisi is a no because the improvement has not been there, and that's for me a worry as well. But yeah, that's it. That's the daily. Let me know in the comments what you think about Douglas Luiz, especially Eze, because we have looked at Eze in the past, but more so about Douglas Luiz. Like, do you think it's possible that we move him on in January? And also Parisi, are you still open to signing Parisi in January as well? Let me know in the comments, like the video, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow post Lecce. Ciao.